just make sure you've got a waterproof protector underneath if you're going to play, because you may lead to some female ejaculation, otherwise known as squirting. Welcome to the Sexuality Clinic Podcast, designed to help you deepen emotional and physical connections, prioritize your pleasure, and build stronger, more intimate relationships. Hosted by Canadian clinical sexologist Roxana Smallwood. That's me. This show offers a shame-free space for candid, science-backed discussions on sexual health, body literacy, anatomy, self-exploration, and relationships, both solo and partnered. Whether you're seeking to better understand your body, explore your desires, or communicate your sexual needs with confidence, each episode provides actionable tips and expert insights that empower you to take control of your sexual expression. From understanding the nuances of intimacy and pleasure to building healthier, more fulfilling relationships, this podcast is your go-to guide for everything sex and connection. Ready to prioritize your pleasure and start building the intimate life you deserve? Tune in now, and don't forget to download my free checklist, join the waitlist for my online course, or check out my online adult shop at thesexualityclinic.com. Subscribe today and start your journey toward more confident, connected, and pleasurable relationships. Here we are. We're getting ready for an episode on an introduction to bedroom accessories. So I've got a few goodies in front of me. This by no means represents the whole selection that is out there. This is meant to be an introductory 20-minute, might go a little over because I tend to get a little excited about sharing all of these goodies. But we're going to be looking at the exciting world of bedroom accessories. So whether you're looking to spice things up, explore some new sensations, or simply enhance your sexual wellness, understanding about the tools I'm going to show you today can transform your intimate moments. Okay, so I'd like to first start by highlighting two items that I think everybody needs. If you've got bedroom accessories, you need a place to keep them clean and a way to get them clean once used. My rule is that you only put clean accessories back into the bag. Now, the bags that I offered, this one in particular is washable. I also have a lockbox style bag on my site. Whichever way you're storing your toys, you don't want to just be throwing them into your nightside table with, maybe you've got pets, maybe there's whatever sort of dust bunnies and whatnot. When was the last time you cleaned out your nightside table, right? So having a place that feels luxurious to store your goodies is always a good idea. It's also great for sort of keeping things a little discreet. If you like to keep them right out on your countertop or on the side of a bed, all the power to you. Sex positivity is great, but if you'd like to have them tidied up a little and stored somewhere safely, I highly recommend using a tote or maybe using one of the lock boxes I have. And then again, this is a foaming cleanser. Hot water on the item first, then you give a little bit of foam, rub it around, make sure there's no debris, and then you give it another rinse. And you can either just let it air dry or kind of blot it. You just don't want to leave behind anything on your goodies, right? So that's my first little disclaimer there, is we want to have clean toys that you use if they've been used previously and they're not cleaned between uses. This is a recipe for some type of an infection or discomfort to come. And so we don't got time for that. Let's just keep it clean in the first place. Grab yourself a good toy cleaner and have a safe spot to store your goodies. So one other suggestion is that you can have multi-uses for your toy cleaners. Maybe you use a menstrual cup, or you want to use it to sparkle up your jewelry. These are also great options for the intimate toy cleaners. So they're pH balanced. They're really not going to disrupt. And also, more so than just keeping it clean, it also can help to lengthen the life of your toy. So they're using soap on silicone, likely to dry it out. Next thing you know, you'll have cracks. With cracks on a toy, you might end up having some bacteria building up in the little crevices, and you're not going to get it as clean every time. So cleaner, good choice. And it'll last a really long time. most likely. Depends how often you're using it, of course, but you can use it across your span of goodies. So that's my first disclaimer there. Now, by the end of this episode, you'll have a clear understanding of how the accessories that I'm going to show you work and the benefits and how to choose the right ones for your unique needs. So it's a perfect episode for anyone who's curious about integrating bedroom accessories into your sexual habits or lifestyle, whether you're new to the world of intimacy products or looking to expand your collection. I'm sure you can learn a thing or two from what I've got to offer. So it's also good for couples who are seeking to enhance their connection and explore new dimensions of pleasure. Now, I'm not saying that toys are for everyone. You may enjoy closeness with just yourself or a partner, but these are just like tools in a tool belt, right? So they're not meant to replace a partner. A screwdriver wouldn't do great at a construction site, or should I say a drill. So the toys are kind of like the drill. The screwdriver can be by hand, right? But either one isn't going to replace the person who's operating the tool. So we're not replacing people here. We're just giving some options. Anyway, let's start out with our air technology. Okay, so the options that I carry happen to be the Womanizer brand for the most part. Again, all the items I'm showing are currently available on my site, thesexualityclinic.com. So if you're looking for any suggestions, please drop me a note and I can help you out if your questions aren't answered in this episode. But what we've got here is the blend. We've also got Womanizer Next. Okay. There are quite a few varieties. Whoops, dropping things. These are all airflow toys, so it might be a little overwhelming to see them all at once. So let's start sort of the most simple, okay? So air technology or pleasure air technology refers to devices that use air pressure and suction to stimulate sensitive areas. Often these are focused on the clitoris. I like to use a little model when I demonstrate. So if you're not watching this podcast, know that it is available with video. I post on YouTube as well as Spotify, Apple Podcast, other major platforms. This is the clitoris, right? We've got two bulbs here. This bit here is attached to the bone, and then this is the glans. So the glans is what we typically call the clitoris, but there's more to the structure, right? So when using an air pleasure or a pleasure air technology toy, you would want to lift the hood. So often there's a little bit of a hood on the glands, and then you would separate the labia, okay? This is a very sort of basic air technology toy here. Just goes up or down in intensity, and there's no added vibration on this option. So this one's great for travel. It does have a little case, right? And it's rather quiet. You may hear it. That's right up to the microphone, which is quite sensitive. But in a room, you're not going to hear that. And especially once it's on the targeted area, right? So you can hold it this way, whatever is comfortable for you. And then you just sort of relax, have some nice breathing. And next thing you know, you might be just peeling yourself off the ceiling, forgetting your name and unable to move your legs if you've not tried one of these before. So the sensation can be quite intense. But that's sort of how the pleasure air technology works. It's like a pop, 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 pop of air, as you can hear, right? And then if you look inside, you can see a little bit of movement, but I'm not sure that you can get a clear picture on that in the camera. So that is that's sort of the smallest of the womanizers, and then they sort of vary here. So the next is a little bit bigger, and then you power it on. Now, the toys I'm showing, if they have vibration, they are able, or if they power on, not just vibration, if they've got the pleasure air technology as well, they're rechargeable. There's only one toy that takes batteries that I've got in front of me here, and there's one that's no vibration, or actually a couple with no movement at all. So this one takes a magnetic. Most of the womanizers use a magnetic charger. So just a USB cord, and then it'll recharge up for you. It's always nice to have a couple because while it's great that we're not going through batteries, you don't want it to die when you're mid-use, right? So have another one charged up and ready to go. These toys need BFFs. So that's another womanizer, same idea, right? Just a larger, better hand-holding grip, a little bit more power in this one. So that's the womanizer next. And it does have a few different options. I'm not going to go too detailed here, just going to try to cover the basics. Now, we've got something that goes internal with air pleasure technology. That is a wider opening, and it's meant to hit at the G spot area. Okay. So you power this one on, and I believe this one actually uses, here's the power button you hold down first. And then this one uses touch. So see that? If you're not touching the end that is meant to be used for stimulation, then it's not going to be operating. So this is great if you want to be discreet. Maybe somebody's going to pop open the door when you're least expecting it. You can, and it doesn't make a noise, right? So you do you. You don't need to be shy about your sexuality, but many of us are raised that way. So if you're wanting an option that uses that touch sensitivity, this is a great one. We also have that touch sensitivity in this particular one as well, which gives some internal as well as external. Now, this air technology only really came out in 2020, so this is rather new, highly popular. The most recent release of the womanizer actually had all testers, 100% of their product testers experienced orgasm. Usually that's what our goal is when we're using a toy like this. But sometimes it can be just to sort of get in the mood, bring a little extra blood flow, play around with different sensations. Maybe this one could give your nipples a nice sensation, right? So there really are no rules. I'll get to a couple of rules when we're talking about any sort of anal play toward the end. But anyway, we want to have safety, right? So this one here is the OG. So that's meant to be internal use on that G-spot area, okay? Which is about, it's quite a short distance inside the vaginal canal and toward the front. Yeah, so that one's a great womanizer option as well. We'll just power that off. And then we've got the blend, and that has that internal piece. And then you'd separate your labia, pop it on the glands, and you've got your controls here. And this does, the womanizers are fabulous. Okay, I'm not going to carry on with any more talk about the womanizers. I did show this one briefly. This is the whole shebang. It's got all kinds of controls. You can turn on vibration, off vibration. You can have sort of an afterglow control so that as you're reaching climax, you can slow things down a little so it's not too overwhelming. Because some people do say that when they use the womanizers or the airflow toys, that their climax can be really strong and it becomes extremely sensitive quite quickly. Okay, so anyway, if you're confused about this little character I'm holding, that is the clitoris, and here's where it sort of fits in. Right, there's a little vulva soap or candle. We've got the glands there, which is just up in this area, right? And so it's important to note that we don't need to focus all of our attention just on the glands there. You could use a little bit of a lubricant and slide between the labia, and that's where you'd have access to those bulbs, right? You can also sort of feel the bulbs, but you can explore with sensation all around the vulva or other parts of your body, right? So that I'll put to the side for now. Now, sort of moving on into other external stimulators. So devices designed to stimulate the outer genitalia, could be for the penis, the nipples, the clitoris, or our largest erogenous zone, which is our skin, right? Anywhere we can get excited and play and do whatever feels good for you. So let's talk about the Dame Calm Wand. It uses a really rumbly vibration. It's got great ergonomic handle, and it can offer targeted pleasure, can help with achieving orgasm or experiencing orgasm. I don't actually like to use the word achieve because it puts too much pressure. And when we have pressure on wanting to experience an orgasm, often that takes away our access. So if you just explore with curiosity and enjoy our exploration, then perhaps orgasm could be something that you experience. We want to take away that achieve word. So a wand is great for solo or partnered play, could be great for body massage, could be great for vulvar stimulation, could be great, maybe in the perineum between the testicles and the anus or other parts. So wonderful option here. It's by Dame. It's called Calm, COM. And it does come with a gorgeous little bag. Okay, so you can store this one safely on its own in the packaging that it comes with. And it also is rechargeable. So you can see just a magnetic charger at the back. Now, we have a few other options that are sort of external. Maybe this one here is a good one. This is the Iroha lipstick vibe. So this comes from a Japanese company. This one is a battery operated, but you can throw that in your purse and you've got a little fun to throw in whenever you might need it, right? A little stress reliever, a little bit of relaxation, get some dopamine going in the brain. You can have that on the go. So a little bit of a twist as if you're lifting the lipstick, quite quiet. And it's got a little bit of a cutout at the top of the lipstick. So you can have some sort of targeted play. But that one there is just a quick and easy little battery powered lipstick vibe. Another nice option here is also from Dame. So you can see here we have, so this is great for internal exploration, but I'm showing it because you can also use it externally. So sometimes people want internal, sometimes they want internal and external, sometimes just external, right? So a lot of different ways that you can achieve that. You don't necessarily need a toy for each. You can use one toy to experience different ways, or you could use multiple. Maybe this one would be internal and this could be external, right? So you can have different angles and experiences. Now, again, Dame makes a wonderful product. You can hear it's a little bit rumbly. So this one packs a little bit more of a punch. You have the option to raise the intensity a little higher than this one, but this one's also a great choice. So it still does get quite intense and they do have that more of a rumbly vibration to them. So having this one as an option for that internal G spot, it's got that nice curving to it already. And you can just sort of put a little bit of pressure. Usually the G spot likes pressure and it likes a rocking sensation or maybe even a windshield wiper type sensation. Okay, so you can use a finger or a toy to experience that. Just make sure you've got a waterproof protector underneath if you're going to play, because you may lead to some female ejaculation. So, otherwise known as squirting. Now, we've kind of talked about some external options here. Now, internal, again, the one I just showed is great. There are some other styles as well. So this is a Stronic Petite. This has magnets inside that go back and forth, okay? And they give more of like a bit of a thrusting. This has actually been studied and has shown that in folks who are sort of, I think it was menopause or beyond, that using this for 30 minutes, oh no, sorry, it was 15 minutes for 30 days, heightened their libido. It got them in the mood a little more often. And what you may not already know is that as we go into menopause and beyond, the estrogen goes down, and sometimes our vaginal area can kind of dry a little more, or there can be some atrophy. So we want to use the tissues, we want to keep them moisturized. And if you're concerned about any sort of menopausal effects, make sure you consult a doctor. You may want to take some hormone like estrogen through menopause and beyond. But something like this could be a great option. It's not too intimidating. And when you power it on, you can see here, it sort of thrusts back and forth, and it has different settings, right? So it's more of a thrusting, right? But it almost feels like a vibration, but it's meant to really just sort of get that sort of area feeling alive and full of blood and excitement. So that is the Stronic Petite. It's made by Fun Factory. Okay. Oh, and one that I didn't mention, but I maybe could, This just sort of have a mini wand. This is a nice little option. Again, great for travel, and it does come with its own little toy bag. So nice little perks for some of the options when they come with storage. Okay, so looking at um, looking at actually, one thing I haven't mentioned is lubrication. We want to use a good lubricant, something that's not going to disrupt your pH. I personally like to recommend Wicked. The Wicked Aqua or the Wicked Aqua Jelly is a fabulous choice. Water-based lubricants are great with your toys because you don't want to have an interaction with a silicone toy and a silicone lubricant. It's a safe bet to choose a water-based lubricant, but especially for anything you're using internal. You don't want friction and something to be uncomfortable if it's internal and you don't have that sort of glide. So I always recommend a good lubricant. So it's like TLC for your toys, tote lubricant and cleansing mist or cleansing foam or something to clean. So back actually, I'm all over the place with this one, but that's okay. There are no rules, right? This is my podcast. I can do what I want. So here is another great option. This is something that you would place. Hey, it would sit kind of like this, right? You'd sort of put it under the outer labia and it would sit sort of on top of the glands. There are a few different ways that you can use it. You can also, just hold on to it and hold externally. But the idea is that it would sit nicely and you can have penetration and it's not big and bulky. You don't need a handle and it's meant to stay in place. Don't use too much lubricant with this one because you don't want it to slide out of place. But a little bit's all right and recommended. So that's a beautiful little shareable toy that you can kind of have some fun for both of you. But if you're having vaginal penetration, you can have this being worn, and if it's with somebody who has a penis, their body pressure could potentially be putting some good pressure on the glands with that gorgeous little piece. That one's also by Dame. I think it's called Eva. It is called Eva. So that's Dame Eva. It's a great option for enhancing some partnered sex. Let's keep it exciting. Let's see if I can get through everything that I've got on my table. Now, dual action. I don't necessarily have any dual action toys right now. What I like to recommend is that you play with what you like. Um, and it could be with multiple toys, even if you've got maybe a like a sterling silver or if you've got something internal like I mentioned, and then you can use something external and you can have sort of targeted sensations. But we do have some remote controlled, like this one here. It's got quite an interesting name. It's called Secret Clit. Okay. But it actually heats and it has different patterns and it's got voice control. So the remote is what has the voice control on it. And with this one here, you would just power it on um, and then with the remote, you can see that it's really not that loud. Just when I bring it close to the microphone, you can hear. And then you can push the heat up button and then you'll see on the remote that turns red. And we've got some sensation here. So this will give some internal, but also some external stimulation. That's sort of what's meant by a dual action toy, having internal and external stimulation. So there are a variety of other options that can give that type of sensation. Oh, but look at that one. It actually has some movement in the tip as well. So number of different settings for each of these toys, and it does come with a little storage bag. So great to keep it discreet and clean. Now we're wanting to move on to some other fun goodies. Okay, so this one here is great for either same sex, like both female and female play. So one can wear, and then there's like a, it's not airflow, but it's got a little boop, 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 boop. It's sort of a flick and lick, I've called it in the past. And then it's got this piece where you can penetrate. Okay, so You can either have female on female, or you can have female in anal. Okay, so it could be vaginal vaginal or vaginal anal. Now you would wear it. This one here is called Strap On Me. It does give a remote with a few different options for how you can control the motors. So there's a motor here, and motor here. And you can choose which ones you want on. You can choose which intensities you'd like. This is a very popular toy. Strap On Me. Okay, so that also comes with a little bag, little black bag. And so that sort of leads us into some potential anal discussion, right? So if we talk about anal, we want to make sure that we're not going vaginal or anal to vaginal. No, 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 we don't do that. That's very high potential for disrupting the vaginal area and causing problems that will result in hospitalization or having to visit the doctor. So make sure you stay clean that way, but also a good lubricant. Okay, always use a lubricant for anal exploration. You're more likely to tear in the anus. These are other options for anal play. These are not vibrating. These are little butt plugs. This comes from the Playboy brand. Different graduated sizing. Maybe it's one for each partner, or you can choose which one you like and start small and move up. But a butt plug can give a nice bit of pressure. Males, females, people of all genders enjoy this. Have the possibility to enjoy it. I'm not saying what you like. You decide what you like. I'm not going to yuck your yum, I promise. And so that's a nice option for sort of just having that sense of fullness while you play in other ways, or you can use it for exploration. Now, something I missed was our non-battery operated dildo. So everything I've been showing has been sort of a vibrator or an airflow toy, right? With the exception of the butt plugs and this beautiful dildoll they call. So this one is called Fantasia. It's got some really nice pastel colors through it. These are 100% silicone, really nice, super suctiony. Okay, so you can stick this to a surface. Maybe it's in your shower. Maybe it's on the edge of the tub. Maybe who knows where you want to put it. You could also stick it to another one of itself, and then you'll have a double-ended toy. So that's great for somebody with a vagina and a vagina, or any kind of play that you're looking for. But just let's make sure we're not going from the bum to the vagina. That's all. So anyway, that one there is the Dilldolls in the Fantasia style. Okay, and then we've got some penis play, right? So can't forget about the penis. And sure, please explore with any of these if you've got a penis and it likes a little bit of vibration. Otherwise, this one's sort of directed towards penis owners. This is called the Manta. The people who have purchased this one end up purchasing multiple because they don't want it to not be charged before they're finished, or they just are afraid that it's going to die. I've got a customer who's bought 4 of them. So there we go. Love it. Somebody referred to it as a bit of a soother, quite comforting and just relaxing. So here we have power it on just there. It's got this loop, so you can either stick a finger through it, and then you can run that up and down the shaft. You can hear it's not actually that loud, again, by the microphone. So this one is a black colored Manta, and it's got different settings, of course, but again, with a little bit of a lubricant. And it also has this nice sort of a slit in the middle, so that can give a bit of a different sensation. But these ridges can also hold on to the lubricant a little bit, so that's going to glide nicely. Okay, so that's the Manta. And then we've got a few other options in terms of, either a sling. So this can give the visual of quite a full jock area. There's no rules about how to use it, but I think the idea sort of is that the penis would go through here, and then the testicles would be through the bottom, and that would prevent the testicles from sort of pulling up when you orgasm. I know a lot of a lot of men or penis owners tend to put some pressure between the testicles and the penis, which they may not even realize is helping to prevent the testicles from pulling up, which can intensify the feeling of your orgasm. So, of course, if anything is too uncomfortable or too tight, then take it off. Use a little bit of a lubricant so it's not uncomfortable. But we also have C rings that you can use in different ways. The set that I have in my shop has different elasticity to them. So there's a medium stretch, um, a, a non very stretchy, and then a super stretch. So these can be either used one at a time, and you can just see which size or elasticity suits you. Or you can, maybe put one here and then maybe one over the testicles. Or you can use one for the whole shebang, okay? So there are different ways that you can use these. The idea is that you wouldn't use it for more than 30 minutes at a time. And when we're talking about constriction rings, you want it to provide a decent constriction. Ooh, we also have vibrating C rings, but I don't actually have one in front of me right now. I don't think I have it here. Anyhow, there's one called SVR. It's on my website, and you can take a look there. It's got a vibrating piece that comes up, so that's great for if you're wearing the C ring, okay? And then you've got a little bit of a vibration at the top, so that if you're using it during vaginal penetration, then you've got the glands being stimulated by the vibrating pad. So that sort of covers the majority of the goodies that I have here. One last thing I'd like to show is a parafit. So this is great for pelvic floor exercise. This doesn't actually vibrate, but what it is it has different sensors inside, and you use it with an app on your phone to strengthen your pelvic floor. Talk to your doctor, talk to a pelvic floor therapist, make sure that strengthening your floor is what you need. If you're peeing while laughing or coughing or jumping, you have a bit of incontinence, maybe you've given birth, maybe you've just become weaker in your pelvic floor with age or time passing. Make sure that you're not trying to treat something that doesn't need treating. So some people have too much tension in their pelvic floor. So if that's the case for you, don't use a pelvic floor trainer. But this one here is a great option for strengthening the pelvic floor, reducing bladder leaks, and also improving your sex life. Having a strong pelvic floor is important for your sexual health. This is sort of the antenna for it. So it sends the signal to your phone app, and you can play games like Flappy Bird and other games that are right there on your phone. And this is essentially your controller. So you get feedback from the app that connects you. So I also have this on my site. So that's the parafit. Anyhow, that sort of wraps up what I'd like to talk about in terms of bedroom accessories. So if you're ready to explore these bedroom accessories further, head over to my website, thesexualityclinic.com. You can browse my current offers. You can reach out, ask me a question. Always look for the banner at the top of the page. Sometimes I have promos running. So take advantage of the promo by entering the promo code if there's one running at the time that you check. So don't forget to download the ultimate sexual wellness checklist to guide your journey toward a more successful or more fulfilling sexual sex life. So don't forget to download our free ultimate sexual wellness checklist. This will help to guide your journey toward a more fulfilling sex life. While you're on there, browse my shop. There are more than just bedroom accessories. We've got massage oils, shave creams, blindfolds, little floggers, etc. So remember that exploring bedroom accessories is about enhancing your pleasure and deepening your connection with yourself and or a partner. There's no right or way to use these tools. Just explore what feels good and works for you. So thank you for tuning into this episode of the Sexuality Clinic Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us to help others discover our conversations. Stay curious, stay connected, and always prioritize your pleasure. Until next time, I'm Roxana Smallwood. clinical sexologist, encouraging you to embrace every aspect of your intimate journey. Bye for now.